going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Bucs Latest here on the Fan Arch Network. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And, of course, for Bucs Nation and Go Bucs fans, it's your time. Remember, like and subscribe to Bucs Latest here on the Fan Arch Network on a Fan Friday, my favorite day of the week, as we read your comments. So let's get into it, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were busy once again on Thursday as they inked former Titans free agent corner Kemon Hall to a one-year deal. Hall is 28, has spent time with 6 NFL teams, only 87 career snaps on defense. So more than likely, he's going to be a special teams player. And of course, he will compete for the backup corner job, as that cornerback room includes Zion McCollum, Benjamin Morrison, and Jacob Parrish. It's tough to get those guys confused, but that's your corner room. Of course, Josh Hayes also. So once again, it definitely helps the depth of that corner room and also possibly your special teams. And then if that wasn't enough, the Bucs also agreed to terms with corner Chase Lucas on a one-year deal. The former 49er appeared in 15 games, became a free agent when he was untendered as a restricted free agent. He is 29, played 200-plus special team snaps for the 49ers in 2025, as he did with the Lions in 2023. So once again, adding experience to that corner room before the draft, as you're only 2 weeks away, or actually 13 days away from the NFL draft, as we know that the Bucs most likely will address that position. But once again, they're able to get 2 players to not only fill depth in that room, but also get guys to help out on special teams. So Bucs fans, what do you think about these signings? They may be under the radar, but they may pay off in the long run. Put the comments there in the box on Bucs Latest here on the Fan Arch Network. Now let's go ahead and move on to our second story of the day. And free agent linebacker from the Lions, former Lion, Alex Anzalone, now the newest linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was on the Jordan Schultz report. And he talked about how other NFL teams were offering him more money, but because he was able to budget his money, it's an amazing thing to do there, Bucs fans, football fans in general, to budget your money, that he was not worried about in the least chasing the highest offer. In fact, his wife Lindsay is from Pinellas County, and his father Salvatore is a doctor in Naples, so he definitely knows the Bay Area, and of course will be 32 in September. Had this to say: I had some really strong offers for some teams, but if you ask my agent financially, it would have been better off to go to those places. There were some constraints in Tampa, what Tampa could offer me. Tampa is home for me and my wife. We got to live in our own house, got to live in a full-time the rest of our lives. It means something to play in Tampa. So again, Tampa is home for me and my wife. We get to live in our house, get to live in full-time the rest of our lives. It means something to play in Tampa. So, I mean, makes sense. He's from the area. His family's from the area. So, of course, you know, that would be a reason why Anzalone would take less money to come to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, but there's more here, Bucs fans, as some of you still hate Todd Bowles as the coach. By the way, he's still the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On April 10th here, 2026, he says the football aspect of being in Coach Bowles' defense, that really excited me, and I know that's a perfect fit for me. And then you go through the family aspect and all these different dynamics, and it's like, what do you weigh? Going into year 10, I don't have to think about the finances. It must be nice. But there you go. That's the reason why you save your money in the first place. That's the reason why you budget it out. I'm certainly sure that he can ask Jason Light and Mike Greenberg how to budget out his checkbook or his finances, because they do a bang-up job over there at One Buck Place. Now, Bucs fans, what do you think of Anzalone's comments? Put the comments there in the box on Bucs Latest here on the Fan Arch Network on a Fan Friday, as we talked about the draft. Only 13 days away And according to CBS Sports, they have the Bucs selecting at 15 a familiar name. Akeem Mesidor, who will turn 25 this year, is a plug-and-play contributor. He ranked top 5 nationally in sacks with 12.5, tied for third in FBS. Tackles for loss, 17.5, tied for fifth. And quarterback pressure, 67, tied for fourth in 2025. Opposite Ruben Bain at Miami, the Buccaneers could easily reclaim the NFC South crown in 2026 after the Carolina Panthers ended their 4-year division title streak in 2025. And Mesidor will give Tampa some much-needed pass production. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Even though the age, even though there's some injury concerns with his feet and everything like that, he can come in right away, you would believe, and transition over and possibly give them a double-digit sack season, which, again, is an anomaly because over the last 10 years, only 6 rookies have been able to do that. Now, this was asked by writer Greg Allman talking about the ages that Jason Light has actually drafted for 27 players in the first 2 rounds for Jason Light that he's drafted in his tender with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as it relates to Mesidor, the last time a player 25 or older at week 1 was drafted in the top 15 was Terrence Newman, and you have to go all the way back to 2003. 5th overall to Dallas, only 1 in top 20 since then. Garrett Bowles, who went 20th to Denver in 2017. So, again, getting a rookie at 25 years old, there is a risk. It doesn't happen a lot. You don't see a lot of teams do that, but here you go. Again, this from Allman of Fox Sports. Bucs have drafted 27 players in the first 2 rounds with Jason Light as a GM. Age on September 1st of their rookie year. 9 were 21. 14 were 22. 3 were 23, being Vita Vea, Kyle Trask, and Luke Gedeke. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It worked out pretty well for Jason Light. And 1 was 24, Cody Malk, the right guard, who was out with an injury. But when he's been able to play, he's been a productive guard. But you notice not a lot of, again, drafting older ages at this point. So will the Bucs draft Mesidor in 13 days at 15 if he's on the board? It remains to be seen, but very interesting statistics. And once again, another mock draft that has Akeem Mesidor as the Bucs 15th selection. What do you guys think? What do you Bucs fans think? Put the comments there in the box on Bucs Latest here on the Fan Arts Network. Now let's get out to it. It is the fan comments, my favorite day of the week. And in case you noticed, it was kind of a Fan Friday, so I kind of dressed down here with the Bucs Life shirt. Thanks a lot to them. Something a little bit different, more comfortable. So let's go out to these comments here. Carlos Chambers, 5013, says, good move with Green because our backup guards last year could not hold the line. Plus, he was a first rounder for a reason. He had a workout on Thursday. It remains to be seen if he's going to be signed or not. We'll see, but I definitely like what you're thinking and where you're coming from. Street Bows Vault says, love the show, Peter. Yes, anyone who watched all the games knew Baker was affected by injuries after the Lions game. My question is, why did they not let him sit for a game or two? What's the point in having a backup quarterback if you're not going to use them? Keep up the good work. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think the confidence was there with Teddy Bridgewater. Again, you have to remember, here's a quarterback who did play in the league, but was a high school coach at the time, necessarily not in the best shape. And when he got the opportunity to play versus the Rams, it was nothing to write home about. So I think that's the reason why. And they felt like Baker gave them the best chance to win. No matter if he was 100% or not, that's the reason why they didn't go with Bridgewater. Thanks a lot for the compliments. Keep on tuning in here to Bucs Latest on the Fan Arts Network. Appreciate you. James Motes, 7382. I agree 100%. Baker was injured. That did affect his play, his numbers. Where Baker goes, the offense goes. Absolutely. James again. Follow up my other comment. It's hard for a quarterback to gain cohesive when your receivers are injured, cohesiveness. I think that's what he said. When your receivers are injured and then they come back healthy, but they haven't practiced and they haven't been playing, that affects everything as well. I think the Bucs will be a lot better offense this year with less injuries, and I think they have a good chance of going somewhere. I agree with you. Good comment there, James. Appreciate it. Red Winstead 7873 says they got to get Baker Mayfield some help this year. Agree with that, and I think they're definitely doing that. Once again, keeping the offensive line healthy, have young wide receivers that can possibly stay healthy, and once again, a new offensive coordinator, which Red should definitely go a long way. CC Pulowski 1636. One thing is obvious, it's going to try to dare people to run on them this year. We should be stout talking about the defense. They're definitely going to dare the Bucs to do that. Becky Homler, one of my favorite commenters here. Thank you for Levante for telling the truth about Baker. And now the criticism for Baker needs to stop. I've said repeatedly, not only was he hurt, but he was throwing to rookies all season. He had no first-string running back for months, a play caller who was so bad he got fired. Todd Bowles for a coach and a GM who ignored positions of need, especially pass rush, leaving Baker with a defense to back him up that could not tackle, pressure, or cover anyone. With all those problems, Baker is the least of their problems. Thank you, Becky. Appreciate the comment. As always, Brent O'Neill says, man, this guy is sorry. I don't know what he's talking about. Hopefully not me, but Brent, you're definitely one of my friends, one of my favorite commenters here on this show and, of course, on the sports web. I think you're talking about the signing. Marco Jordan says, yes, I do like Rakeem Nunez-Roches being Nacho. Boy, Brent, if you're talking about Nacho, that's not a good comment. Aaron Master 7139. The Bucs are doing what I thought they would do, get a veteran guard for a backup. That is smart. No need to draft an offensive lineman. Holton, no. He's not as good as Cansey, and it would mean that they're giving up on Cansey, being Grayson Holton from Oklahoma. I would think they go after FSU DT because he is a nose tackle. You just can't have Vea playing 80% of the snaps this year. Holton can't play nose. The Bucs have 30 visits, which means they're not going to draft everyone that visits. Correct. You're absolutely correct about that. Good stuff, Aaron. Thomas Hodges, 1941. Cansey is the most underrated player on our roster. You're absolutely correct. I keep on saying it. He is the big-time key to this line. If he can stay healthy, then I think that line is that much better, especially when it comes to pressure. Brent says, Nacho is sorry. Brent says, again, Baker Mayfield will always get injury excuse, so it doesn't matter. The other teams ain't going to care if he's hurt or not. Carlos Chambers, 5013. Show me where he's played badly when he was healthy, anywhere he has been. It's a good point. To that, Brent says, you will be saying the same thing this year. He's hurt. Baker has shown you why he's on the 4th team. Laugh out loud. But again, you might just be a Baker Mayfield fan and not a Bucs fan. Brent says, Peter, I said that about the quarterback position, but you don't care about player development because of your man crush with Baker Mayfield. Yes, I have a man crush on Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. You are afraid that another quarterback will come in and outplay him, but you're okay with the offensive line development. Laugh out loud. Well, I don't know necessarily what you're saying at that point, but again, the offensive line has to stay healthy. They have to develop. And Baker Mayfield in his time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has put up some very good numbers. Now, does he have some things he has to work on? Of course. Staying healthy, avoiding that unnecessary hit that's going to get him off the field. And, of course, the turnover situation. He's not without flaws. But at the end of the day, it's like Gerald McCoy said, yeah, and also Chris Sims, who are you going to replace him with? What quarterback, Brent? You've never told me what quarterback you want to replace him with. A lot of Bucs fans can't tell me what quarterback you want to replace him with. And if you do replace him with the quarterback, most likely you're going to have to pay him over $30 million. So it's been a bargain for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they've been able to do. Carlos, not a big fan of that comment, says another insane comment. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Brent, as always. Roland says, what is the franchise tag for next year and the year after look like for a quarterback? If you get him for $5 to $7 million cheaper than that, sign him. If not, you wait and see how he does without Evans. Good comment. The quarterback market, it's always changing. It's always evolving at this point. Over $30 million, most likely. Daniel says, you are awesome. I just want to say that getting the biggest names are not always the best thing to do. Absolutely correct. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Tim says, see you tonight. Fan on the sports web, a webhead. Thank you very much for tuning in on Bucs Latest. Brent says, and he throws picks in big moments in big games. Daniel Hammond says, I think the Buccaneers have done the best that they can do in free agency. Dave TMTMTL, one of my favorite commenters. In my opinion, we picked up some depth, but the biggest improvement will come via injured players returning. We almost can't have as many key player injuries this time around. Agree with that. You definitely got to stay healthier this year. Fiddleback Jack says, pay him. He will be the best quarterback this franchise has ever had. That's played more than a year or two with them. I like that comment. Daniel Hammond says, the anonymous people I can't stand. What's your name? To it, I agree with you. I love the Eminem reference. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Will the anonymous GM please stand up? Please stand up. Yes, I threw a little Eminem reference in there because I'm a fan. He's a Libra. I'm a Libra. And that's all the differences, right? Brent says it's easy to pad stats. You draft a rookie quarterback, let him sit. Peter never mentioned that about Bucs fans saying drafting a quarterback. Well, listen, I'll ask Bucs fans this as I asked this on my show. If it goes south in 2026, how patient are you going to be with the rebuild? Because it's going to take at least 3 to 5 years. For every Drake May, there's a Zach Wilson. You have to put pieces around him. So if some Bucs fans want a full rebuild to where you tear it down and you're trading players out of here and getting rid of salary, how patient are you willing to be with a rookie quarterback? And again, in the history of this franchise, what rookie quarterback has ever been successful besides maybe Doug Williams? Put the comments in there in the box if you know what rookie quarterback has been successful, because I can tell you right now, it's been basically zero. So you stick with what you got with Baker Mayfield. You see if you're going to sign him to an extension. You see how that works out. Maybe you do it this offseason. Maybe you do it next offseason. But everybody's saying, bring in somebody else that's better. What if they're not better, Brent? Then what do you say? Then how patient are you? Some of you fans, once again, cannot even be patient with the fact of them not winning the NFC South or winning the NFC South. It's not good enough to win the NFC South and win 8 or 9 or 10 games again. So what would it be like if you're only winning 3 to 4? Again, be careful what you wish for here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arts Network. I'm just saying. Daniel Hammond says, Mesidor on the other side of Yaya is awesome. Marco Jordan says, yes, just pay Baker now. Daniel Hammond says, I don't care what the anonymous executive thinks around the league. I think we did very well. Free agency for the money that we spent. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. Thomas says, pay Baker now. He's a winner with a lot of heart who gives 100% and pumps up the rest of the team. He needs pieces around him and protection. Gainwell is going to help tremendously. I say getting a playmaker tight end along with an edge rusher. Roland says, no short arm rush linebackers. Our right tackle has short arms. We see how expensive he is and how he still needs help against longer arm players. Short arms practicing against short arms isn't making the rookie getting better during the week. Good comment there. Still think Luke Gedeke, when he can stay healthy, is one of the best right tackles in the league. They have their bookends there, right? Tristan Wirfs on the left side, Luke Gedeke on the right side. Shane Perkins says Baker 43 to 45 million a year for 5 years with a $100 million signing bonus. I like what you're thinking. Marco Jordan says, I think one name, Akeem Mesidor and Cassius Howe. I think Becky has a comment here. Cassius Howe is not NFL ready. Finding Durham says Baker all the way. I love to see them draft a backup, perhaps Beck, Altmaier, or Moss. Kevin Morrison 827. If they don't pay Baker this year, they'll be in a bidding war next year. Agree with that. Tim says we can win a Super Bowl with Baker. Okay, I like that. Thomas Hodges says we don't need receivers. Red Winstead 7873. Pay Baker Mayfield with all kinds of hearts. So she's a Baker Mayfield fan. I think it's a she. Is it a she or he? Well, thank you very much, Red Winstead there 7873. Daniel Hammond says, I don't think there's a veteran quarterback that you're going to get less than $50 million after this year. But I will say this, I'm not actually convinced that Baker Mayfield is our best quarterback when he's injured. My problem is they could have put Teddy Bridgewater in for him. We would have won those games last year, made it to the playoffs. Do I think we need to draft a quarterback? Yes, but not in the first 4 rounds. Actually, I have one perfectly picked out in the 5th round. I'm not going to say it. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap it up right there here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arts Network. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And of course, for Bucs Nation and Go Bucs fans, it's your time. We'll see you next time here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arts Network. And as we always say on this show to end off the week, Go Bucs.